you can be raid ready in less than a week, which is pretty cool considering that raiding is like an optional activity that you can do in World of Warcraft. It is by no means a mandatory thing that you have to do. It's just sort of an extra icing on the cake. And I didn't know that getting into World of Warcraft retail for the first time. I just started playing with BlizzCon 2023 once they made the announcement for the War Within. Now, I've done extensive raiding across the spectrum for the last 25 years in many, many other games: EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, Lord of the Rings Online, Star Wars: Old Republic, just to name a few. But I'd never played World of Warcraft because I was too busy with other games. It is very different in World of Warcraft, especially if you're talking retail, because I have raided in Warcraft, but in the Classic experience. When Classic launched, I played the main tank, Protection Warrior. When Wrath of the Lich King Classic launched, I played a Death Knight, Blood Spec, and was the main tank for the guild there. And I've had plenty of experience tanking raids and raiding in lots of other places, just not in retail here. And it blew me away that you could be raid ready in less than a week once you got to level 70. But what exactly do I mean by raid ready? Like that's a sort of a vague term. So first and foremost is simply the act of getting your eye level high enough. If you're a new player, you might not know what that means. It essentially means your item level. So let's take a look at what that is really quick. So if you open up your character sheet, let me get this window out of the way. In game, you're going to see I have an item level of 444. This is the average item level of your equipment. If you hover over each individual item, they have item levels associated with them. You'll see the number represented up above. It says 457. This one's 447. This one's 457, 454, 441, 428, 454, 428, so on and so forth, 450. All of these items have different eye levels. All those combined together gives you a median score of 444. Now, to get into raids at the base level, which is through the group finder, it's through the raid finder, heroic and everything else, you need to have more than 400, and that can seem like it's an insurmountable thing to do, but it's not as difficult as one might think, because once you actually start playing the game on a regular basis, and we've talked about this before in the past, and another guide we talked about the Emerald Dream being something that you could go through in a week. It's very easy to get into this. So the raid level difficulty for Raid Finder is 376 to 385. Normal difficulty is 389 to 398. And you only have to worry about going heroic difficulty or beyond if you're at 402 to 411. For heroic, and mythic difficulty is 415 to 424. Now, as an example, if you're going to use the looking for raid finders, you come in here and you pick one of the raids, and this is going to put you together with a bunch of other random people on the easiest mode there is. All you have to have is an item level of 376. Now, if you're going to do normal, which is what our guild does, our guild raids on normal mode, which is the default mode for the game, you need an item level of 389. You only have to worry about 402 or above if you plan on doing heroic or beyond. We're not doing that, so we never had to worry about it. So all you need to shoot for is, if you're going to be doing with public raids, 376. If you're going to be doing raids with a guild, you need 389. You can get all the way just from doing the main storyline, and this is why I say you can get raid ready within a week. Once you get to level 70, you're going to be going to the Emerald Dream, and I did a video on this the other day about how I did the Emerald Dream on my alt character in 2 days, and all I did was the main storyline, which was just the campaign quest. I didn't do any side quests whatsoever. This character did a bunch of the side quests, and it took him about a week and a half to go through all of the Emerald Dream. But my warrior, who I just leveled up to 70, got him to 70. It took me 2 days of questing, about 8 hours in total across 2 days, to go from level 70, and I think I was like, I don't even remember where I was at now, but like I was like 370 something eye level, and then by the time I finished up the Emerald Dream, which is the seasonal single player content that comes after Dragonflight, I was 407 on one of my specializations and like 412 on the other specialization. Somewhere around that. I don't remember the exact numbers. I would have to go back and look at the other video. But I was 407 plus, which means just from running the Emerald Dream single player content, right? No dungeons, nothing. I was already ready to raid heroic level raids and beyond just by doing single player content. So, given that this character took about a week and a half, my my hunter, my warrior took 2 days. If you play super casually, you can literally go through the Emerald Dream after you finish up, because Dragonflight's going to give you, you're going to get to about 385 through Dragonflight. You might get slightly higher, slightly lower, depending on what quests you do as you're leveling up through Dragonflight. But essentially, you're going to finish Dragonflight around 385, which is right at like the base level of what you need to be in order to do the looking for raid difficulty, which is like the easiest level possible because it's the public raids where you only need 376. You're already there just by finishing Dragonflight. So theoretically, you're raid ready right after that. But if you want to get raid ready for your guild runs and everything else, or if you want to do heroics or anything else, you'll be running Dragonflight. That can take about a week if you're playing pretty casual, but really you could do it in a couple of days and you'll be good to go. Now, of course, mileage varies depending on a lot of different factors, how many days you can play, how many hours you can play, so on and so forth. But it is really, really, really easy to get raid ready in terms of gear. Now, mentality-wise, that's something different. If you've never raided in World of Warcraft before or any other game before, it's just a matter of mechanics. Now, learning mechanics can sometimes feel challenging, and a lot of this, I always think back to like grade school. Anytime someone is having a problem learning, it might not be the problem of the person, it might be the problem with the person who is teaching that individual. The game does an okay job of giving you great tips on what to do. If you go to the adventure guide in here, you can look at the raids and go to, like, say, Dragonflight or current season, and you can look at Amridasil, the Dream's Hope, as an example. And you can pick on a boss mob here, and it will show you the strategies for DPS, healers, and tanks. And you can read through these strategies at your leisure as you see fit. Now you can also, because most people post raid guides online as soon as they beat a raid, you can also go to YouTube and find great raid guides that teach you how to do each one of the boss mobs in a raid. And from there, it's just a matter of learning the mechanics and going and doing it, which is why looking for raid is such a great option if you have the time to just jump in and try doing things in a very chaotic format, because if you can get it done in a chaotic format, then you're definitely ready to go for normal mode, which is when you get in with a guild like our guild. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. Which, by the way, if you want to come join us, we are on the Moonguard server. We raid on Saturday nights, normal mode, nothing sweaty, no heroics, no mythicals with us. We've got better gear than what the raids are dropping in the first place, because we've all gone and done the Emerald Dream, and we've used flight stones and everything else. So for the most part, most of us already have better gear than what's dropping in those raid zones. We're just doing it for the story at this point. And that's the beautiful part about this, was going back to, say, the way I used to do things in EverQuest 1 or EverQuest 2, or even Lord of the Rings Online back in the day. It used to take months, and I mean 6 months or more, to get raid ready. You had to play 6 months of the game to get the proper gear, the gear sets, the resists, and everything else, to even be able to get into the first raid zones and survive those first encounters. And World of Warcraft Retail has done a brilliant job of getting people in as quickly as possible to that in-game experience. I don't want to say, I didn't play hardcore, but like my first character, this Renfail, my hunter, I got him from level 1 to 70 in about 2 months, just playing, doing all sorts of different stuff. And we literally started at the end of BlizzCon, and we did our first raid 2 weeks before Christmas. It was a very quick time for us. We got the guild formed up, we got in, and we started raiding the first raid in Dragonflight right before Christmas, a couple weeks before Christmas, and we are finishing tomorrow night. We're actually finishing the second raid. We have one more boss to finish, which is Sarkarath, and then we're on to the third raid, which is the current content for World of Warcraft and the season of, I forget what it's called now, but it's the Dragonflight seasonal content for the Emerald Dream. Anyway, it only takes a couple of days to a week at most to get raid ready. From there, it's just about learning mechanics. You can watch online guides. You can go run some looking for raids in the public space. You don't have to worry about applying to a guild to do the content. That's the beautiful part about World of Warcraft retail, is anybody can go out there. But there is a slight learning curve and a mentality switch to do the raids, because you do have to learn the mechanics, even if you're doing on looking for a raid, even if you've got 450 eye level gear score and you go to a looking for raid where you only have to have 376 gear score, you're still going to die if you don't pay attention to the mechanics and get out of the things that can one-shot you. So it is important to learn how to play and use online tutorials, read up in the adventure guide, figure out what you're supposed to do, and then just go forth and have fun. But it is really easy to get raiding in World of Warcraft, and that's one of the things that I absolutely love about it, is that you can do it for story and you don't have to worry about doing it sweaty. If you'd like to know more about our guild, all you got to do is hit us up in Discord. We are on the Moonguard server. We can get you an invite. You can fill out an application as soon as you want to. If you like this guide, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. I stream every single day here and on Twitch. Thanks to those of you who support the channel with memberships, super chat, super thanks, and over on Twitch with bits, subs, and all the cool things that happen. That's how I get to stay on the air and do this full time, so thanks to all of you. Don't forget to check out the Discord, check out my latest fantasy novel. Links are down below. I'll see everybody in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Happy gaming.